the healing component. We express our manifest form through a holographic template that carries with it certain codes, certain frequencies, certain anomalies within it that allows us to, or brings with it, what we are seeing as expressions here on this realm or plane, right? When we experience or there is a distortion within this template, we materialize, or what is crystallized is forms of miasma, right, which manifests as blocks, dis-ease, different mental and emotional disruptions within our field, within the reality. It even manifests at times in certain situations that may arise within our energetic field, right, within the immediate space. And some of the aspects of actually beginning to correct these template distortions, well, there are several ways to do it, to be honest, because I've gone through the path of maybe about, I would say about three. Let me see. So I went through the energetic component of it. So I learned the energetics of that. So that'll be like healing the chakras, learning how to communicate with the cells, right? Learning how to communicate with different components of the body. And what I found helped right with that was actually looking through some anatomy books and really getting to know, being familiar with certain parts of the body that you could visualize the internals of it all, right? And moving through those areas with your mind, with your consciousness. As for example, if you look at say you look at your finger and you actually put your full attention, try to focus on your finger, actually feel your consciousness moving into your finger and feeling every inch, every part of that one finger, that index finger, or wherever you're putting your focus on. You're gonna notice, if you're able to at the time, tingles or a small micro vibration on the area that you're focusing on. That is where your attention is going. That is your conscious energy right now being inside of your finger, or embodying that more. Then if you actually tune into it even further, you're able to tune into the actual cells. Some people feel them moving around. I know for me, if I get a cut, I can actually tune into it and feel certain aspects of it going through the process of healing. It's quite interesting to actually feel into it on those levels. But yeah, so I went through that process of actually learning how to direct energy into my being, and then that goes into also the higher chakras. It goes into the emotional body, the mental body, right, the astral body, the archetypical body, right. It goes into these different components, and the more we become aware of these different components, and that could be through meditation. Some people check books for it, but I actually recommend you actually sit with yourself and really ask the quantum computer, the quantum mainframe within your consciousness, that is you, right? Your internal internal GPS, your your internal Siri, certain questions, and like really sit with yourself and see what comes up, right? And that was one aspect of it for me. Another aspect was me actually going through the process of learning the herbs, learning how to like actually take care of the physical body, learning the different types of foods that may not be in our best interest, in our highest interest, in terms of at least like getting out of the mass psychosis that's going on the planet, right? Where everybody's basically in a fog. So I took that route kind of for a bit, maybe like put it into balance. Like I was more in the sky, in the air, more eerie, right? And brought it back down into the physical, with having to deal with the physical body, and so those components, combining those components, actually allowed me to have a broader perspective, a broader scope, because I noticed, and for a while I did it too, I created an imbalance in terms of just dealing with the spiritual component, the spiritual side of things. Some people just deal with the physical side, they don't really merge the two together, which I found was important for me to actually go to the next level, to upgrade everything, and to also be able to have a wider perspective on being able to pinpoint certain things that others may actually be going through as well. That may be just my masculine side, right? Just the the logics and so try to quantify stuff and connect things, and I mean, it is what it is, right? The energy and the spiritual component of my consciousness, the more intuitive programming is also there as well. So joining the two of those together actually created a greater merge of that component of the masculine and the feminine in different ways, right? So now I think I mentioned the third one. So the third one ended up being the psychological aspect, right? Noticing that certain changes when I go into my imagination or my magic kingdom, the inner realm, connecting into the inner crystal or the inner Christ. I noticed certain psychological changes would occur in terms of like my own attitude towards life, towards the reality, the way how I perceive things, the way how I see it, right? Certain things may be going on in the reality, and somebody next to me may see it and feel it completely different to how I am interpreting it, or translating it through my own field, right? So I found that to be very, 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 very important, especially now, right? Because we're going through a very amazing change. The energy is amazing. Even though things are seemingly getting more chaotic, in some areas they can be more stressful. It feels like the world is, like, for some people, like closing in on them. For a lot of people, with a certain perspective, you're able to see the expansion of the reality, the way how the world is expanding. But we're going through this little quote unquote dark night of the soul. It's really a transformation. So the components are let's just say the template is being restored. So it's coming into alignment. And within that alignment, or the alignment process, we're being shown what wasn't in alignment. So it's very much a collective change, as well as much as it is an individual change. Because to each person, to each individual, we're going to translate it, we're going to view it differently. And it's going to create a change within us, if we so allow, that will allow us to move into a higher version of ourselves. As long as we allow the ego, the at least the negative ego, or that version of ourselves that refuses to change, that is afraid of change, loves stagnation, and we move into a free flow. We connect to the river of eternal creation. So yeah, I just thought I would leave, I thought I would talk about that, my experiences with connecting into the physical components, the physical and the spiritual components, where you actually, the physical aspect of it, you would, if the body needs, most people actually, in order to get out of the mass psychosis, not everybody, but what I've found is that a lot of the foods and stuff like that actually cause the energy to be like dampened. So I went through the process of actually like learning how to clear out the organs and stuff like that. I am not a medical professional, and all of it is self-taught. So, but I definitely learned a lot in terms of like repairing the stomach lining and stuff like that. If you know, it's a lot to put together, really, but it is there. I'm gonna make a separate video talking about that, though. My a lot of my findings during the process, right? All the different herbs I would have used and stuff like that, and then connecting it into the utilization of the plasma that we are receiving in the sun, and also the plasma that is manifested or materialized here, known as GANs. So yeah, I hope everyone had a great Lionsgate. I mean, we still in it, we going through it. Oh no, we went through it even before then too, right? But everything is expanding, things are moving extremely fast. We're getting a lot of energies coming in, plenty of opportunities to connect to our inner self, our inner plasma light, where we recover a lot of our memories. And yeah, just try your best to see the perspective of the expansion, but also allowing for yourself to express what may be stuck in a healthy way. Allow the body to dance or sing, or I really look at the small stuff Well, like, start simple. Start with like birds chirping. Start with being able to breathe. Stuff like that, and build from there with the frequency of appreciation and gratitude for all of creation. And what happens is that brings the magnetic field out of the what would be perceived to be like a black hole, right? That sucks people into this fear, and you move into that perpetual energy, that 0 point frequency, that harmonic, that bioharmonics, or the components of what some would call, or many would call, the 5D reality, right? But it starts from within. Always has been. It's an ascension and not an. The ascension is an ascension, or the going within. The deeper we go within, the more distortions we actually observe and transform, align, shift. We actually experience the outer shift of that as well, right? So hold the balance, hold the line.